Hello, my name is John, and we are looking at the MiG-21 again. Today I wanted to talk about the different types of armament available for the aircraft within the simulation and its use and capabilities. So let's get started. The first aircraft here has 2 out of the 4 different types of infrared guided air-to-air missiles loaded, and let's first start with the right one. The right one is the R3S, and it entered service in 1962. It has a maximum range of up to 7 kilometers, however the effective range was only about 2 kilometers. And interestingly enough, this is more or less a direct copy of the American AIM-9B, and to such extent that even some of the parts were interchangeable. However, this design was improved by the Russians over time, which finally led to the R13M1, which is here mounted on the left on the inner pylon of the aircraft. The R13M1 entered service in 1976 and it has a maximum range of up to 17 kilometers, however the effective range is 3 kilometers. The R13M1 was further improved over time, and which finally led to the development of the R60. Here on the right hand side on the outer pylon we have 2 R60Ms loaded, and the R60M entered service in 1982 and it had a maximum range of 8 kilometers. However, the effective range is at only about 4 kilometers. Nevertheless, the R60M will be the most capable air-to-air infrared guided missile available to us in the simulation because it has the best range and best flight performance. And on the left hand side we have the last out of the 4 different air-to-air missiles, the R55. The R55 entered service in 1976 and has a comparable range to the R13. However, it was not as maneuverable and it therefore is not as effective against fighters or any small agile targets than the R13. The R55, however, is best used against big non-maneuvering targets, for example a tactical nuclear bomber. And this concludes all the infrared air-to-air missiles. Let's continue onwards to the radar-guided air-to-air missiles. And here on this MiG we have both of the radar-guided air-to-air missiles available in the simulator loaded. On the right hand side you can see the R3R missile, which was fielded in 1966. It has a maximum range of 8 kilometers and the effective range is at about 2 to 3 kilometers. And the R3R is the same missile as the R3S, and they just are different in the terms of guidance. On the left hand side we have the RS-2US, which was fielded in 1957 and has an effective range at about 3 kilometers. The RS-2US is also known as the K5, and as you previously heard, the K5 was the predecessor to the R55. The K5 for the RS-2US is a radar beam rider, and this means it doesn't actually search for a radar spot in front of it, like the radar eliminate the target in front of it, but instead it looks basically at the radar behind it, as the radar of the airplane obviously who fired the missile, and it uses that to guide itself to the target. And if you go behind the aircraft or behind the missile better, sorry for this, so there you can see it doesn't have the rocket exhaust at the back, obviously because there the guidance system is sitting. It has the rocket engines coming out of the side, as you can see with the 2 metal pipes there, which are the exhausts. And this is quite an interesting design, and you will also see this on the KH-66 later on. And this is all about the radar guided air-to-air missiles on the MiG. And let's continue onwards. Now let's take a look at the guided air-to-ground ammunitions in the inventory of the MiG-21. And there is only one weapon in this category, and it's the KH-66 air-to-ground missile. The KH-66 was fielded in 1968 and has a range of up to 10 kilometers, where it can carry a 100 kilogram heavy warhead at a speed of over 2000 kilometers per hour to the target. And the KH-66, as previously mentioned, has the same guidance method as the K5 and is guided by the aircraft's radar. Therefore, having the sensor in the back, it has the rocket exhaust or the rocket engines on the side of it. And this is again quite an interesting design, and was though quickly abandoned because the carrier aircraft, which launches the missile, has to dive onto the target or dive towards the target. Later on, the KH-23 was fielded, which is not available in the MiG-21 by the way, and the KH-23 could be fired from level flight, which made it much better than the KH-66. Anyways, let's move on to the unguided air-to-ground dominations. The first group of unguided air-to-ground ammunitions I want to talk about are the unguided rockets. Here in the 16 and 32 tubed launcher, the S5M unguided rockets, which can be used obviously to destroy light armor targets, infantry and unfortified buildings. And as you can see, you can carry them quite in large numbers and they will be fired in pairs. And I guess everyone who has ever flown an aircraft in DCS probably already fired some unguided rockets already, so not much more to cover about that. However, there is a second type of unguided rocket available to the MiG-21, and it's the S-24B. And yes, those two big tubes under the wings are individual rockets. They have a range of 2 to 3 kilometers each. They weigh about 230 kilograms, and the warhead is about 123 kilograms heavy. So I'm pretty sure everything that will get hit by that is probably pretty dead. Anyway, let's continue to more unguided weapons, the bombs. There's a huge variety of freefall bombs available in the MiG-21's inventory, and I will just go through them quickly because most of them just differ in size. On the left hand side here we have the FAB 100 bomb, which has 100 kg as the name suggests and is mounted on a 4 bomb launcher rack. On the right hand side we have the FAB 250, which is basically the same bomb, just a bit heavier. And here in this aircraft on the left hand side we have the FAB 500 kg freefall bomb, and on the right hand side the SAB 100 kg cluster bomb. The SAB 100 is also available in bigger sizes, but there is not much to talk about that, so I will quickly skip that, and let's continue onwards to some more of the stuff you can mount on your aircraft. Additionally to the previous mentioned armaments, there are a couple more utilities and pods available you can mount on your aircraft. For example here the 900 liter fuel tank or the flare dispenser, as well as the smoke generator. Or also the UPK 23-250 gun pod, the SPRD 99 J2 rocket, or the SPS 141-100 jammer, as well as several other items you can mount under the aircraft. And this was about all for this video, and I hope you liked it. Please leave comments and thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.